As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. A sweetmeat seller hawked gulab jamun, rasgulla, burfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets decorated with leaves of silver and gold. The child stared open eyed and his mouth watered for the burfi that was his favorite sweet. I want that burfi. Like a small innocent child he spoke. He slowly murmured, but he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded, would not be taken care of, would not be paid attention, because his parents would say he was greedy. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. It means the place was so crowded that the child couldn't understand what was happening. At one place, so many people gathered together, and he couldn't understand on one side what was happening, and on the other side, he was attracted by this crowd. Moving on, he saw a sweet seller who was selling sweets, desserts at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his corner at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets, and sweets were decorated with leaves of silver and gold. The child stared open eyed. He wanted burfi because he liked burfi the most, but he didn't seek from his parents. Not in the case that he did not want it, but he didn't ask for it. Without waiting for an answer, he moved on. You can see that the story is narrated in the third person by an unnamed narrator, and from the beginning of the story, the reader realizes that the writer may be exploring the theme of desire. The young boy, as he is walking with his parents, asks his parents for many things, none of which his parents will buy for him. As to why this may be is uncertain, though it may be a case that neither parent wishes to spoil their son. See, we go out and we demand so many things from our parents, but it's not sure that we get all the things from our parents. Sometimes parents may say no as well. Though some of you would think that parents are right in doing this, while others will think that parents can be mean. However, it might be important to remember that the boy himself does not necessarily consider his parent mean. He is not thinking that his parents to be selfish. He willingly accepts the fact that his parents are refusing to buy him the thing that he wants. It is also possible that the writer is placing a spotlight on materialism, the things that the boy wants, though they may be important to him, are not necessarily things that he needs. Sometimes we need those things which are not important for us. It is also clear to the reader that the boy wants several things and not just one item. Means he's not stuck to one item. Wherever he went, he wanted one item from there, like small children do. This does not suggest that boy is greedy, rather, the writer may be highlighting the fact that the boy is excited by everything he sees. Usually, children they get excited at everything they see, and then their parents distract their children's mind. Yes or no? Yes. A flower seller hawked a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards a basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, I want that garland, but he well knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers even because they would say that they were cheap. So, without waiting for the answer, he moved on. What if he has asked from his parents what answer he would have got? Do you think? Yes or no? A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons. You can actually imagine the scene in front of you, yes? Flying from it, the child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors. He was excited to see those balloons as well, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on farther. He didn't ask from his parents. He should have asked yes or no. A snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan, while the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. The child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse voice music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded farther. There was a roundabout in full swing. Men, women, and children, carried away in a whirling motion, shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. The child matched them intently, and then he made a bold request. I want to go on a roundabout, please, mother, father.